stopper with great skill from him to wing the Mo Salah! Raheem Sterling! What a finish! What pure class from the Englishman!
Premier Talk, the English Premier League podcast for the fans.
Hello and welcome back to the Premier Talk podcast. This is season 3, episode 11. We're going to call this one Trouble in Tottenham. Daniel, always great to see you, bro. We're back on another epi.
Another one.
A lot of footy action as always. Domestic football, of course, in England, and then we had some European competition as well. 3 tiers of European competition now with the Conference League. A lot going on. Teams going from the Champions League down to the Europa League. Teams from the Europa League down to the Conference League. So
teams getting eliminated completely.
That's right. So Daniel, why don't you kick us off with the starting lineup?
We got the match day 15 recap.
Then we got the games of the week, plural, games of the week.
And then we're going to do a little Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League knockout recap. We're going to see who made it, who's been demoted, who's been eliminated entirely.
Daniel.
Kicking us off.
Yeah.
Match day 15 recap. First day, massive. I'm going to call this an upset. I think it's a massive upset.
Oh, for sure, an upset, 100%.
Massive upset. West Ham versus Chelsea. West Ham winning this game 3-2. It happens to be the first game of the week. So we're going to leave little details for this one later in the epi. Second game, Newcastle versus Burnley. Newcastle has finally won. Let's go.
It's about
they
that
finally
time.
Won a game.
We're in December. We're almost in the new year, and Newcastle hasn't got a single win until this point. That's just crazy to me. You would have thought with that money coming in, the players would be motivated and there'd be like a little fire burning under them. But these players have just absolutely switched off, and it gives the new management some good reason to go and buy some new players. And there's been numerous links now. Rabiot is the newest one. I've heard the Benfica goalkeeper Vlachodimos is an interest of the club as well. I heard that most recently another Benfica player, Darwin Núñez, plays for the Uruguay national team. There's a 50 million bid apparently that Benfica rejected. This was just today, so they're really going out and trying to scoop some players in for the January transfer window.
Yeah, this team needs to get some players because right now they're not looking nice. With a win, though, they don't sit in 20th anymore. They currently sit in 19th, tied on points with Norwich, but Norwich has a worse record, so they are sitting in 20th. Moving on, third game on Saturday, December 4th, we got Southampton versus Brighton. This was a 1-1 draw. Not much to discuss here. It's good for both teams. Brighton looked very promising at the beginning of the year, especially with how they came and started off this league. Southampton, not so much. I feel like if you're Brighton, you would have wanted to have picked up more points against a team that's currently sitting in 16th. But then again, 16th to 9th, where Brighton sits, is only 4 points. So it's not like this table is so close that you can't look at, oh, we're playing 16th, we should be beating them, because realistically, they're 1 win away from being right behind you on the table. Next, we got Wolves-Liverpool. Wolves almost came out with the point in this one until Divock Origi, 95th minute winner. He's doing what he does best in the Premier League, coming on late, scoring goals whenever he needs to. And that's why he's on this Liverpool side. They ended up winning this one, picking up the 3 points. Liverpool right now do sit 1 point behind Manchester City, currently sitting in second. Next, we got Manchester City themselves. Watford versus Manchester City. City, again, dominant. They came out, they won this one 3-1 against the Watford side. That, hasn't been great. They sit in 17th, just above Burnley. I think they've been up to par with the teams like Burnley, Norwich, and Newcastle. It's going to be a fight for relegation between those 4 teams. I don't really see any other team that's going to fight to get relegated in this league. That's all the games for Saturday, December 4th. We got Sunday, December 5th. Kicking us off, Manchester United, Crystal Palace. You know what? Shout out Fred. I haven't shouted out Fred in a while because he actually did play decent on this day. He scored the goal. A lovely finish, as I may add, to put Manchester United up 1-0, and the game ended like that, giving them the 3 points. Ragnick, changing up the way they played. It was different. I liked it. They won this one. Fred has been getting, I know I diss Fred a lot. being on this Manchester United side. I know a lot of people do entirely. He's been decent over the last couple of games. And I don't like to compare players to their past performances because like people say, oh, Fred's been decent the last couple of games, but he's been decent for Fred. He hasn't been decent as a player on Manchester United. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, he was okay on this day. I think he has a little bit of confidence right now in this step. He looks like he's a player that can go out there and compete in the Premier League, which I like, and I hope he maintains this form that he's in because it'll be great to see that he actually turns out to be a good signing that we had all expected originally. We're going to move on. Leeds versus Brentford, another good one. Tight game, 2-2. Leeds Brentford, they've currently sit they sit in 13th and 15th. Both of them need to pick up points because, like I said, this table is so close that a win can propel you up like 4 or 5 spots. They ended up drawing. It was a back and forth game. And yeah, both of them picked up the 1 point. The third game, and a massive talking point here, we got Tottenham versus Norwich. I think everyone expected Tottenham to win this game. And they did, thank God, because they've won their last 3 games. They beat Norwich 3-0. But this episode is called Trouble in Tottenham for a reason. They have 8 players and 5 staff testing positive for COVID-19. Stuff you don't want to see, especially as a big club in England. And as a result, their games in the Conference League have been postponed. The game that they play on Sunday has been postponed. And who knows, would they need to see the situation as it occurs because they don't know when their next game will be. They don't know if they'll need to play without specific players that will have to be on a 14-day mandatory quarantine period. So they're not too sure. The next couple weeks are all up in the air. Continuing with the Conference League, they're in a disaster in the Conference League right now, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later. And that's why the episode is called Trouble in Tottenham. Last game on Sunday, December 5th, Aston Villa versus Leicester. Aston Villa coming out with 3 points here against Leicester. They currently sit 10th and 11th. So this was a massive win for Aston Villa because it puts them equal in points with Leicester, but they currently sit now just one spot above them on the table. Leicester hasn't been great. They really haven't. They just got eliminated from the Europa League, or they got demoted from the Europa League into the Conference League. And I think they expected a better season coming into the season as a whole, if I'm being honest with you. And then our last game, on Monday, December 6th, we got Everton Arsenal 2-1. Again, our second and final game of the week. So we're going to discuss this going into, I guess, good segue into games of the week. Andrew, why don't you kick us off? Sorry, I rambled there. That was a big ramble session about everything that happened this week.
It was good, Daniel. Just before I go to the games of the week, I just wanted to discuss the victory for Trent. He won the Player of the Month for November. 3 goals or 3 assists and 1 goal. He had a good month. Do you think he deserved the nod for this award for November?
I do. I think he had a great season. Who else were the nominees? There was
Bernardo was
Reece
there
James,
again.
Bernardo,
Reece James. I can't remember the 4th guy.
I think those are the 3 main ones, right?
Yeah.
Like I think any of those 3 players could have won it. I think all 3 had a phenomenal months. I think Bernardo Silva probably was
Bernardo
top
Silva.
man.
He already won the previous month, so maybe they didn't want to give it to him again. Two months in a row. He won in October.
No, Salah won last month.
Was it?
Yeah, he was second in the voting last month. Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo's won this year though. The month or no, the Player of the Month. I thought he had.
I don't know if he has yet. To be honest with you, I know Salah won it last month. I think that was a player last month. Trent this month. 2 Liverpool players, by the way. I would have been okay with them giving it to Bernardo Silva. At the same point, I would have been okay with them giving it to Trent or Reece James. I think all 3 had great months. Bernardo Silva probably edged them both based on stats because he did have a phenomenal goal scoring and assisting month. But then again, it's like it's a vote, and that's the whole fun of Player of the Month. It's a vote from the fans and from the players. So, you know what? Obviously, people felt that Trent deserved it just slightly over Bernardo Silva. So, I guess that's why Trent has the Player of the Month.
Daniel, we go on to the games of the week. This was a tough one to swallow for a lot of Chelsea fans. They need every single point they can get just because they have City and Liverpool so close behind them. So every single game they go out, they have to get points. And for Chelsea, this was just a low point, a low week in the season, because not only did they lose this game against West Ham, we'll get into that after, but they had a poor outing in St. Petersburg in Russia. So two poor results within the span of a week, but I'll dive into this one a little bit. So Thiago Silva initially got the scoring going, was a header. That came in the 28th minute. That was a decent header. And then to equalize, Lanzini scored a penalty shot. That was after it was, I don't know, it was quite alarming to see Mendy just, make a pass. So it was just very nonchalant. So, and the pass was picked off. And after, what else are you going to do but try to challenge the ball, and he pulled down Bowen in the box. So that led to the penalty shot. And that's what led to the equalizing goal from West Ham. So 1-1 there. Then Mason Mount scored just a neat finish. Yeah, that was only 4 minutes later. So it was a great response by Chelsea after making a passing error to really establish themselves once again in the game. This was a great game, by the way, back and forth. Lovely battle from two teams that were coming into this week were in great form. So, and they're also two top 5 teams. So a lot at stake here. Then to continue with this one, Jared Bowen got the equalizer. So he's very involved in this game. I thought Jared Bowen was one of those players in this lineup that doesn't get enough credit. He's been very good in transition, carrying the ball from his half over and running at defenders. I think he's done that numerous times this year, and he's had success with it. So Jared Bowen, just a fantastic game from him as well. Obviously getting the penalty shot and then now scoring the equalizing goal to put it 2-2. Then Masuaku. Daniel, who would have thought this guy would have been the hero here, man? Who would have thought? Literally,
he came out of the half because of an injury. That was the only reason why.
Who would have thought Masuaku would be? He's a fullback by trade and just
scoring bangers. I don't even know if it was on purpose, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a banger of a goal. Anyways, that was the deciding goal here. 3-2 to secure 3 points against London side. It was a derby matchup, and now with this win, they sit in 4th place, Daniel. 4th place from West Ham. Who would have thought those two words would go in a sentence with West Ham? So they currently sit back 6 points still. Chelsea, it's still 2 games, 2 wins behind, but nonetheless, they're in a Champions League spot. They've been doing fantastic in Europa League, as we already mentioned in previous episodes, and here they are again causing waves.
Riot.
Yeah, literally. For the Premier League giants. So it's I love seeing this is what football's all about, and it's any team can win on any given day, and this was just a fantastic back and forth game of football. So top game.
Yeah, I think Mendy has been praised a lot in the not in the Champions League, in the English League and the Premier League, because he's been great. He's been a phenomenal signing for the Chelsea side.
Daniel, I always say that I love Mendy. I love Mendy, and I love his story, how he started in the lower tiers and worked his way up into French football, established himself there, changed nationality, chose to play for Senegal, and he's been establishing himself there in the national team. He was the hero last year in the Champions League on many occasions. But my one big beef with him, or my one big critique of him, is the modern day goalkeeper, Daniel. The modern day goalkeeper has to be able to place his feet. Has to. You cannot have a goalkeeper that is untechnical in that respect of the game. Obviously, it's imperative that they're a good shot stopper and they have good positioning and whatnot. Those are just the traditional aspects of a goalkeeper. But the new wave goalkeeper is one that has the ability to control the ball, play with the center halves, stretch the ball out to the flanks. These are important traits that a goalkeeper must have in today's game. And it all started with Manuel Neuer, obviously, early to mid 2000s, and he really came out as a sweeper keeper. That was just another level, but just the confidence of playing with the ball at the back. So it's something that's taught now in the grassroots levels of football or soccer, and it's not frowned upon to see a goalkeeper possess the ball, stretch the play, and be comfortable with playing balls across the back. So that's why I want beef with him. So.
And it showed that he's not comfortable with it just by the goal, the penalty that he ended up conceding, because the back pass to him wasn't a bad back pass. And all he needed to do is saw that he was under pressure and just clear the ball out. Instead, he tried to I don't even know what he wanted. I don't know what his thought process was in the entire thing. He made a mess of the entire opportunity. It was just a disaster. And then Bowen yanked the ball from him. He yanked his leg to the ground, and instead a simple penalty shot. There was literally no complaints from anybody on the field.
Yeah, that's the one thing. If he masters that, then he's going to be arguably one of the world's best, because his shot stopping ability is almost second to none. He's such a tall goalkeeper. He's got a great frame to be a goalkeeper. Positioning's pretty decent, but he's got a great ability to parry away some very hard shots that many goalkeepers will lead to easy rebounds for strikers. So in that regard, he's amazing. But his confidence is just lacking there when he's on the ball.
And quickly, just about this West Ham side, they've been a menace to these top teams in the league this year.
Second 3-2 comeback win.
Yeah,
Remember Zuma a couple weeks ago?
Zuma the winner, and look what the even they're that was nuts. Yeah. They've beaten the likes of City in the League Cup. They beat United. They kicked United out of the League Cup. They've beaten now Chelsea. I think the only top team they haven't beaten yet this year has been Liverpool. Yeah, I don't think they beat Liverpool.
I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he gave City the work too.
Yeah, they've been a team that they were like Brentford at the beginning of the year, but now they've showed that they can do it week in and week out in the Premier League. Brentford at the beginning of the year was coming against top side teams, and they looked like they weren't scared of them. But then again, they were still losing. It was just really close. This West Ham side is beating these teams that everybody seems to be scared of in the Premier League. Yeah. So I don't know. This West Ham side is scary. I hope for their sake that they can either go out and do really well in the Europa League, possibly win it. I know Declan Rice said this week that United played Villarreal last year in the Europa League finals. Why can't they go out and win it this year? And I think that's facts, to be completely honest with you. I think
Europa League's kind of stacked this year, though.
It's more stacked than it usually is.
Yeah. So.
But anyways, we'll get to Europa League. The second game of the week, Everton versus Arsenal. This game was it was mad because of everything that happened in this game. Everton hasn't won in their last 8.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
They haven't won in their last 8. And this was in Everton, okay? These fans were going nuts. They wanted to see their team win, which everyone does. But when your team's on a big losing streak, you need the support from your fans to continue to be there. And it didn't start off too great for them because Odegaard opened the scoring right before halftime in the 45th +2. Just a cross came in. It was a nice finish. Nothing really Everton can do. But Everton had already been denied a Richarlison goal.
Oh, yeah.
That was pulled back from VAR. Yeah. So Everton felt that they already should have been up 1-0. They weren't. They were down 1-0 at halftime. Then, kicking off the second half, Richarlison scores again. And everyone's like, okay, finally, it's not offside. VAR reviews it. It was offside for the second time. Okay. These Everton fans were not having it at all on this day. They were not having it. Then, finally, in the 79th minute, Richarlison got his hat trick with 1 goal and 2 offside goals. This one was not taken off by VAR. 79th minute, he equalized it. And the momentum shift in this game after this goal was massive because Everton pressed for the whole rest of the game, and you saw it coming that they were going to score a winner. And Damari Gray, with an absolute rifle into the top corner, off the post and in, he scored in the 92nd minute to send Everton atop Arsenal and giving Everton their first win in 9 games.
Come on, you toughies. Come on.
This mad game. Just the game was crazy. For that win, Everton now currently sits in 12th with 18 points, but then again, a win would prop them all the way up to 8th. Arsenal sits in 7th, 1 point behind Manchester United. Arsenal needs to pick up points here. They do, because they want to try to at least make a Europa League spot this year. They want to be playing in Europe for next year. And they've been decent as of late. They definitely stepped it up, but it's not difficult to step up going from 15th to 8th right now in the way the table's shaken down. Because
Daniel, have they stepped up though? Because
I think they have.
Dan, if you look at your your last 5, right?
Yeah, they're 2 and 3.
Got smacked against Liverpool. You lost to Manchester United in what was like a game that they could have won, I think, because at the time Manchester United 2 is they were in shambles because of the manager leaving, whatever, that caretaker, whatever. And then you go and beat Newcastle. Anyone could beat Newcastle, Daniel. Let's be honest here. Anyone could beat Newcastle at this point, so I don't find that impressive. Then they won 1-0 against Watford. Anyone could beat Watford too.
Yeah, big deal. I agree.
And Leicester, they beat Leicester 2-0, but Leicester has been in poor form, and we saw this the other day in the Europa League, last game of the Europa League. So I'm not too convinced with this Arsenal side. I think there's a reoccurring cycle with Mikel Arteta. I think the cycle is when they're playing bad, Arteta out. Let's get a new manager. He's not ready for this, and then he starts winning some games. Oh, Arteta's winning some games. Oh,
I have to find something.
Maybe his tactics are really starting to work. Arsenal's playing good football. They're playing convincing football.
That's just the Arsenal fan base, though.
And then look what happens. The cycle reoccurs because they go down again in form. And then Arteta's the right guy for us. He's the right guy for us. Daniel, I don't know who's the right guy for them. And it's definitely not right now. It's not Aubameyang, that's for sure, because that guy's missing goals.
That guy's been shocking.
Right in center. He's been terrible ever since he's got the new contract. He's looked like a completely different player. And then like free my boy Nicolas Pepe, because that guy hasn't touched pitch in years.
I can't believe they signed that guy for 72 million pounds. What a disaster!
So like, the best guy for them by far. It's tough to really shine when your team is bad.
I think I'm gonna say somebody different than you are.
Martin's been fantastic. Martin Odegaard.
I'm going to go with Emil Smith-Rowe.
Emil Smith-Rowe too, yeah, but he scored in an empty net against De Gea when De Gea was done by Fred. I think Martin Odegaard has been very proactive, and he's been, stringing some brilliant plays together for Arsenal, and he sort of emulates that style of Ozil, similar player, not at that level, that caliber when Ozil's in his prime, but there's still a ceiling that he can reach. So I like Martin Odegaard. I think he's a good player. That's my thoughts about this. And I just want to say, what a goal by Demarai Gray.
Oh,
what a fantastic!
I screamed. I was sitting here screaming.
Yeah, we were talking. Me and Daniel were talking on FaceTime. We were just talking, and we both had the game on. And bang, out of nowhere, Daniel and me were going crazy because it was a crazy finish, rightfully so. Yep. So Demarai Gray, he's been a decent signing. So he's back in the Prem. So I think he's been one of Everton's best players by far this year. I think Richarlison struggled with injuries, been out for a little bit with injuries. He's come back now, and I think he had a great game. He had a fantastic bounce back game, in my opinion. He was very proactive up front, very mobile, always looking for goal scoring opportunities, as a striker should. But he found himself being on the unfortunate side of some VAR calls. But nonetheless, a win for Everton and L for Arsenal.
I just want to end off these games of the week, because I saw this on Instagram and I was having a laugh talking about you almost discussed it perfectly. It's the cycle of an Arsenal fan. It starts off with Arteta out. Then it goes to go on a decent run of form. Then it goes to start calling mid players world class. Bro. Then it goes to gaining hope of Europe. Then it goes to lose a few matches with poor form. Then it goes to start overreacting, and we're back to Arteta out.
That's terrible.
And it just spins in an endless cycle. And it's facts. It is. I
was gonna ask you, do you like Ben White? Because I think he was absolutely garbage in this game.
He's not a good. He's basically Maguire.
Yeah, like
he's basically Maguire.
A cheaper Maguire. A better looking Maguire too. He's a good looking dude, eh?
Yeah.
He's got the. He's got the nice hair, to the side, whatever.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Sure.
But he's not a good. He's not a good footballer. No.
He's a cheaper Maguire. At least Maguire's good in the air. Ben White isn't. He's a little bit faster than Maguire too. Maguire's literally like a bus, but it's fine. Yeah, I think he's poor. I think that was a poor signing. I think Nicolas Pepe was a poor signing. I think that Arsenal's side has made some poor signings in there.
Saka too, man. Saka,
he hasn't been great as of late, to be honest with you.
No, I know I still think he's gonna be a top player, but right now in this moment of time, he's just been very quiet. That's the best word to describe him. Quiet.
He was good 2 weeks ago. He had a really good performance.
I think he's. I don't know. I think overall the season has been very quiet following the Euros. I don't know if that affected him. I'm sure it did. It did have some effect on it because that was
young age.
That was nasty stuff what people did to him. It was absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
So that could definitely have an effect on a player. So I don't know if it's translating into the season that he's had right now or it's just I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I think he's still a great player, and I think he's so young still too. So young. So there's so much room for growth for him, but right now at this point in time, very quiet.
We're going to move on to the Champions League, Europa League, and Conference League knockouts. We're going to look at all three really quickly. Just going to run through all the Premier League teams because obviously you can spend a whole hour talking about each.
Benfica's through to the next round, baby. Benfica's through to the next round. Barcelona going down to Europa League. Let's go, baby. First time since 2017, man. First time since 2017 we're in the knockouts. We lost to Bayern that year. We had Ederson on our team, just to put it into perspective for you guys. Man, it feels good to be back in the knockout round. I'll tell you that. And shout out to my boy Liam, who loves AC Milan. Shout out to him. Couldn't even make it out in a group with Porto, man. Dead last, 4th place. That's ridiculous, man.
They don't even get any European football.
Anyways.
Okay. Yeah. Well, on that note of Benfica kicking out Barcelona, which was a fun time for me. We're gonna move on. Champions League. Manchester City finishing top of the group of a PSG. They were fantastic. They were, and they're into the knockout round. They get to play. If you finish top of your group, you get to play all the teams that finish second in their group. So you get an easier first round of the knockouts. But then again, there is some pretty good teams in the unseeded teams. So Manchester City, they're into the knockouts, finishing top of the group. Liverpool, same thing. They're into the knockouts, finishing top of the group. They had all 6 wins. They went 6-0 in their 6 games, which is just incredible. I think there's been 10 teams to ever do that, and 3 of them came this year.
First British team ever to do it. English team to do it.
Yeah,
all 6 group games. That's a fantastic stat.
It is. And then Manchester United, they finished top of their group as well over Villarreal. Villarreal finished second. That game was played yesterday because of snow. It was Villarreal versus Atalanta on a Thursday. Villarreal ended up winning and kicked Atalanta into Europa League.
Yep.
Then we got probably the biggest talking point in Champions League. Chelsea, they tied on Wednesday to Zenit 3-3. It was a nuts game. It was crazy. Yeah. Game in the 94th minute, Zenit scored to tie the game.
Banger. I watched the game. It was an absolute banger. Great technique. Ball skidded off the grass, hit it side volley. And no chance for Kepa. He got his finger on it, but still, it's too much power. And he didn't see it till late. But just a difficult result from Chelsea because Chelsea were leading, then they tied. Leading, and then they tied. So it was similar narrative to the West Ham game. Obviously, it's not easy to go to Russia, travel that far, obviously. So these Zenit gave them a tough game. So,
and with the tie, it allowed Juve to. They had to go out. I don't even remember who they beat.
Juve beat Malmo.
Malmo, yeah, they were bottom of the group.
It was 1-0. It was 1-0.
I know, and but then again, Juve did finish top of the group as a result of Chelsea tying.
They did, and that's good for my Benfica because I would love to catch Juve. I want to stay away from the cities of the world, the Liverpools of the world, because they'd absolutely steamroll us. So
yeah, so Chelsea has, I believe, they can play Ajax, Madrid, Munich, who I don't think anybody would want to see that early. And who's the last team that they can play?
Lille.
Did
you say Lille?
No, Lille. No, I didn't say Lille, but yes, Lille. So those are the 4 teams they can play. Obviously, you want to get a team like Lille. I don't think you want to play. Nobody wants to play Ajax right now. That team looks like they're going to go for another run like they did a couple years ago. But again, out of those 4 teams, you probably want to get Lille or Ajax. You wouldn't want to get Bayern Munich or Madrid.
Yeah, I would rather get Madrid because I think Madrid's beatable. I don't think at this moment in time, even with Kimmich out, Kimmich has been out due to COVID, but he has some COVID complications. But that team is just in fine form, man. I know they lost to Bayer Leverkusen 4-0 in the league, but that was just an off day. But this Bayern Munich, when they're on their game, man, they're
the best teams in Europe, and I think
they're scary. And I think there's something that Lewandowski and his teammates want to prove, and it's that they were snubbed. It's that I don't think German football gets the recognition the way British teams do, and some of the La Liga teams have gotten over the years. So that's why all of them wanted to play against Barcelona so bad. That's why they, even though they were clear through, and they already secured first place in the group, they wanted to go and
they played their whole starting lineup.
They wanted to smash Barcelona, and that's what they did. So scary sight if you're gonna be going against Bayern Munich, and I'm so happy Benfica dealt with them in the group, and now they don't have to deal with them until later stages if we make it through. So
so that's all of Champions League. I think really the only big point that people didn't expect was Chelsea not finishing first in the group. Now they finished second, which means they get a harder first knockout round.
Yeah, City did lose their last game against Leipzig, but they still qualified.
Playing all youngsters.
Yeah, they did. But still, like, why not? Why not take that same mentality as
a team like Bayern Munich?
Yeah, why not? That's the difference between, I think, City and teams like Bayern Munich.
Yeah, but the thing with City is that although they did play a lot of the youngsters, this was like their third or fourth team that they were playing. When City plays your youngsters, usually they can play a whole youngster lineup in the Premier League and still come out with wins.
That's true too, but at the same time, I don't know. I think that do it like Bayern Munich. Be like Bayern Munich.
Be like Bayern Munich? Okay.
Yeah, be like Bayern Munich.
Be like Bayern. Hang it up on your walls. Europa League. Moving on. Leicester City. Poor form in the Premier League. Even poorer form in Europa League. They finished in third in their group. They were demoted to the Conference League, which they will now play. I'm going to talk quickly about Europa League Conference League. Europa League Conference League, if you finish first in your group, you get a bye. You get a first round bye. Then there's 16 teams left. So now there's the rounds of 24. So rounds of 24 in Europa League and Conference League. Top team from each group gets a bye. And then all the teams that drop down, those 8 teams that drop down from the league above, they get to play all the teams that finish second in the groups. So that's how that works. That's for both Europa League and Conference League. So now Leicester, they get demoted to the Conference League. They have to play one of the teams that finished second in their group.
Didn't Brendan Rodgers say something like complain about the Conference League? Like, he's like, what is this competition? I thought I read that somewhere.
And but now he's in it. So
you're talking bad about it. And then look, there's your karma. You lose against Napoli. Jamie Vardy had a sitter of a header on the 6-yard box, little dink ball by himself. And he puts it over the net. They had the chance to tie it there, but it wasn't just. It didn't just boil down to that chance. It boiled down to skewed opportunities in the games before, the earlier games in the group stage, because they had chances to win games and they just failed to do so. Patson Daka had the fantastic 4-goal game, whatever. That was a great game from an individual player. But overall, throughout this tournament and overall throughout the league, Leicester have just been underwhelming, to say the least. Very, very underwhelming. Players have looked completely different than they did last season when they were playing so well in the league campaign. It's just weird to see it, and people have been really, really criticizing Brendan Rodgers, and they've been blaming him for the poor results this season. People are saying this is the reason why he's not considered a top manager like the likes of Klopp and co.
So we got also West Ham in the Europa League. They finished top of their group. They're going to advance to the Europa League knockouts, and they're probably one of the top 3 or 4 favorites to win it. I think a lot of the teams coming down from Champions League are nuts. They got Dortmund.
They lost on their last match day, but they already secured first, so it didn't matter. But it was against Zagreb, and it was a fantastic goal from Orsic. It was a banger of a goal.
Like 3 minutes in.
Yeah, it was a banger of a goal. So just unlucky for West Ham, but it doesn't matter because they've been cruising in this league. In the Europa League. So
that guy's good, Orsic, man. I can't believe he's not playing on a better side.
He's very young.
Not
very
saying Dinamo Zagreb isn't, but it's just
come
not
on,
not a top league.
Come on, Dinamo Zagreb.
It's not a top league. We're gonna move on to Conference League. I know we haven't discussed Conference League a lot, but obviously we're gonna, because it's knockout round and there's big things going on with the Premier League team. The only Premier League team that was actually started off in the Conference League is Tottenham, and their game against Rennes. I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna say Rennes. Their game against Rennes has been postponed due to their COVID outbreak that they had earlier in the week. And that game against Rennes is massive too, because Rennes currently sit top of the group. They're automatically into the knockout round of the Conference League. Tottenham currently sit in third, 3 points back of the team that has a slash. That's so bad. Oh my.
Vitesse? No, Vitesse is in last in that
No,
group.
no, Vitesse is in second in that group.
Oh, it's Vitesse.
Vitesse is in second in that group.
Okay.
And they are sit 3 points back of Vitesse. And if they do not beat Rennes, they will be knocked out of the Conference League. And I think everybody in all of Europe thought that Tottenham was favorites to go on and win the whole competition. That's at least was my
I don't think so because to them it's just BS competition. And credit to these smaller teams that get this opportunity that they've been wanting for so long. I go back to this discussion time and time again because this is massive for these smaller clubs. For the likes of Tottenham, they're a small club in my eyes, but in England they're considered big, obviously, for financial reasons. But it's a slap in the face to these smaller teams because they play their reserve squads, they play their young guns that never see minutes for the first team ever, and this is the only competition they see minutes in, and it's almost doing a disservice to the competition because it's not taken seriously. But these teams, these other European teams that are considered small clubs, they come out and they play their hearts out. They play for their fans, they play for their teammates, they play for their badge. And many times it doesn't look like that's the same case for Tottenham. It looks like
it doesn't even look that
looks like it's just
in the
another
Premier League.
Yeah, it looks like it's just another game for them. So credit to these smaller teams for really making the best of this new competition and trying to get some attention on their clubs. Good for them.
Yep, I completely agree. I know there was a talking point earlier in the year when the Conference League was announced that should teams that coming out of England be in the Conference League, and I still think there should be. I don't think that they can eliminate teams like this, but it sucks when you got a big side like Tottenham playing in a competition like this without they don't take seriously at all. I don't think that, like, at that point, why even bother? Why?
Daniel, because think about it like this.
Competition.
Daniel, I think their excuse that they always try to make is match fitness, players match fitness. We want to give them the break because it's a midweek game. Other teams deal with this when they play the Champions League. They have to play regardless. So you should be doing the same. You know what I mean? Yep. And unfortunately for you guys are not good enough to be qualifying for the Europa League or the Champions League. So you should still come out with your best players and put out lineups that can win games because it doesn't look like they really try to win these games.
Yep, I completely agree with you.
Daniel, I think that about wraps it up. It's been a good episode. A lot to discuss here, and we're gonna keep an eye on the draw that's happening. The Champions League draw is happening on Monday, the 14th, I believe. Monday, the 14th of December. 13th. 13th of December. Sorry. So we're gonna be looking forward to that. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for that. I want to see who Chelsea gets. I want to see who my Benfica gets. So I'm going to be definitely tuned in for that. I'm really excited for that to see how it's going to unfold. The top 16 best, quote unquote, best teams in Europe. So it's going to be exciting. I always love the knockout stages of the Champions League, regardless of who's in it. And it's going to be different because there's no away goal rule this year. So that might come into play. A lot of extra time games. You might see
about that.
Yeah, there's no away goals anymore. So it doesn't matter. You could score away. It's not weighted more than a home goal. So we're going to see a lot of possible extra time scenarios and penalty shot scenarios just because what if it was tied on goals last year and there was an away goal that would essentially allow the game to be ended there, and so it would give an edge, but there's no edge this year. So if it's drawn on goals, then extra time football we go, so it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited for it. Yeah. So Daniel, that about wraps it up. Episode 11 of season 3. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all the support, all the comments about the podcast that I get in person. I really appreciate them. And just thanks for your support. It's just something we love doing, and that's talking about footy. It's talking about footy. So
yep, I appreciate it too as well. It's been great to see a lot of support from friends, family. It's great, honestly. So we thank you guys so much.
That about wraps it up. We will see you guys next Thursday. Take care, everyone.
See you later.